I can actually see my floor, which is always a plus side. Okay, I'm gonna turn the music a tad bit. Sadly enough, the delay is a lot longer than I want it to be. Because I just heard a child's voice, I'm just gonna turn it down a little bit. Wow, that's really a lot lower than I want it to be. So how about that? That should be anyway. Almost as mad as long as the volume isn't louder than me. And in the video I tried to do on Sunday night, which is like the first one I think that I actually did it on a Sunday, the day that it was originally supposed to be done. It turns out that I was listening to a song on my computer, and I didn't think that the program that I'm using to stream would pick that up, but it did. So my voice is virtually unhearable, and yesterday the internet just was not agreeing with me at all. So, well, yesterday night. So today morning. So maybe things might be different. But I am not doing this for I'm not doing this for views or anything like that. I'm more or less doing this particular video because well, I need to keep record. I need to keep record of a lot of things. So, and the thing that kind of sucks is that I all my notes are in the trash because I thought I did it right Sunday night, and I was almost thinking about pulling them out last night, aka this morning, as in 1-2 o'clock in the morning, but then the internet just was not agreeing with me at all. But at least now I might be able to say important things. So the important thing I do want to say is I have a friend I need to apologize to, and I apologize to this friend in my last 3 attempts at this. Because twice yesterday I tried to do a video. So before I do the actual full-on apology, let me first say that this is my channel, and I have this channel that is mine to talk about my life experiences, and sometimes those life experiences involve other people. Wow. Sorry, got majorly distracted by that. And sometimes when I feel that it is important to the narrative to talk about their involvement in my own story, for more or less the narrative to make sense, I will. Or I have. And it seemed like I made 2 videos last week. Video log 10.4 and 10.6 was more or less my audible attempt at creating a bond with somebody, and it turned kind of. It was a struggle for me, since being open with people and social and all this other stuff, it's hard for me. So I document that in this sense. I share that with whoever's willing to listen to me ramble for about 45 to an hour. However, on one particular day, I got overly excited about something that I considered a really good thing. My friend has a daughter, and me and the daughter were working on a puzzle. And I don't do puzzles. I don't do puzzles at all. I don't have the patience for it. And rarely do I feel comfortable enough to do anything with anybody else, if it isn't 6 steps removed. But my friend's daughter had a lot of fun with me doing the puzzle, And when I was talking about it on my video, I actually showed her daughter and me doing the puzzle without thinking, and it was brought to my attention, I believe Friday night, Saturday night, that I did that without permission. I didn't. It didn't even occur to me that, like, oh, I need to ask the parent of this minor if it's okay. And, like, keep in mind, I was taking multiple pictures the entire day, so I guess my mental space was kind of like, well, my friend's gonna be okay with this. and not as a disrespectful thing, but just kind of like, oh, taking pictures, selfies, and all that kind of stuff. It didn't even occur to me that I should be like, hey, friend, is it okay that I do this? Even though they're seeing me do this, and I think I did even ask, like, can I take a picture? But I didn't ask if I can use it on an online medium such as this. So not only did I not ask for permission on that, it also turned out that it could have potentially caused my friend more of a personal problem. Nothing legal, nothing dramatic in the sense of having tremendous legal repercussions, but it would definitely have caused a situation that would have made her life a lot more difficult. And that's the worst. I hate leaving things like that, because it's kind of like, well, that doesn't make sense. It just makes it seem like whatever. But understand that what I am doing by taking down my videos, by making this public apology, by taking responsibility for my actions and trying to do right. I can't even think of the word, but do right after my own mess up is my choice. With that being said, I also understand that my friend and relatives and other friends related to my friend might not be my biggest fans anymore. Sorry, I had to zoom in because I figured it's just really important. And that hurts and that sucks. But I have to, but I understand the situation, and I understand that, one, things were not looking more or less how I kind of wanted it to go, which is okay. Life is full of things that are unsuspected. You can always try to find a way to, like, work with it and mold it to be more of a better experience. But at the same time, because of this new development, I honestly believe that any kind of, I hate using the word relationship, because even though relationship over campus is a lot of different things, I still feel it's kind of like a bigger word that is very misinterpreted a lot. But I do believe that bond now is kind of like severed and gone, which is extremely depressing and extremely sad for me. But I do still want to do right. Hence why the two videos being 10.4 and 10.6 are down and not viewable and at all. And I already apologized to my friend. I apologized to my friend's parents, because everybody else can go, kick rocks and blow bubbles, but those two groups of people meant a lot to me. So please know that I am truly sorry for the extra stress, for lack of a better term, that I caused, and I hope that what I have done to not redeem myself, but to fix the mess, helped. And if there's anything else that I can do to correct my own actions, please let me know. And please understand, I'm sorry, you guys, for those who saw those videos and going, why are they not there? Because I care about my friend, and I respect my friend, and just something that I feel is right for me to do. I don't like censoring myself. I do feel this is the right thing to do, and I talked about this for about 10 minutes, and I'm pretty sure you guys want to hear about the rest of my week. And I'm hoping this song in repeat doesn't get annoying. So I heard it like maybe a couple times, and I was like, oh, I'll try it out. The one that's in the background. But let me see what I can actually remember from my other video. So about the video that I took down, Sue saw it. Not a bad thing. Not a bad thing at all. But she did have a particular how do you say comment about it. And not about the video in itself, but something that I said. I said it in the video that now I kind of wish I could just have segments of the video. In the video, I talk about the idea that I'm just a doer. I just do things. And the things that I do kind of warrants me existence in other people's. I'm trying to find a way to paraphrase it better, but it was like 2 days ago, and I was emotional, not like crying, but like, you know, I was definitely like in tune with how I was feeling. What was the idea that, like, you know, everybody has a purpose, everybody has their thing that they're good at, and I keep trying to do things that I'm not good at. But at the core of it, I still do things. So I will try to continue to do things. And I was talking in a perspective where I was both kind of saying that, okay, I'm not going to give up, but at the same time, I have to understand where my strengths and weaknesses are. Sue saw that and was like, hey, you do understand that, like, you know, you are more than, like, you know, the work that you do. I'm like, no, you have to understand that I am only the work that I do. People are only the work that they can produce, the things that you see them do. If you see somebody like, oh, they're a good person, what makes them a good person? If you see somebody and they're like, oh yeah, that person's cool, well, what makes them cool? They do things that make them cool. I do a lot of things. A lot of things. Some of it just to keep me busy, other things because I care. And she was like, well, you really don't have to, you know, people liking you is not based upon the things you do for them. I'm like, yeah. People liking me is based solely on the things that I do for them. Hear me out on that. If I didn't do things for people, for anybody, like, I'm not just saying anybody in particular, but like, if I don't help, then I'm not being helpful. No matter whether I'm like, oh, I should, you know, I hope somebody helps that person with the struggle that they're going through. That doesn't classify me as a good person. What classifies me as a good person is that if I see somebody that needs help, I help them. If I see I can contribute in a positive way into a situation, I will. That is what defines a good person, in my eyes. Because, you know, good intentions in the mind can only go so far. If you don't do anything about it, then, you know, what's the point of it? And I'm not going to speak too deeply on I guess I'm going to say certain perspectives of certain people, but at the same time, I think I got her to understand that the way life works, at least in my perspective, you're only as good as the things that you do. That's it. You can be nice, but being nice reflects upon things that you do. If you lay on the couch and do nothing, you're not a good person per se. You're not a horrible person, but you know, do you really deserve the word of medal of a good person? I don't think so. Or a person that is useful, or a person that is helpful. If you're not those things, you don't get those titles. You're not a soccer player if you come, and soccer players or any kind of athletic sport will understand this. If you sit on the bench the entire season, it's hard pressed to call yourself an athlete. You have to actually be involved in the sport. Just being part of the team doesn't necessarily mean that you are a you know, insert athletic sport here player. Basketball player, football player, soccer player, what have you. If you're the water boy, you're part of the team, yes. You're not the football player. You are the water boy. And that's not cutting people down at the knees. It's more or less saying, okay, don't take credit for things that you didn't do. keyword there, do. So everything from sports to work to family to friends is all reflected upon things that you do and things that people see that you do. Sometimes, yeah, like it doesn't matter that people see everything that you do, but like, you know, if someone goes, oh wait, that guy's a bad guy, we have a core system that says, did he actually do that? Did he actually do action, or is he just thinking really hard about things like conspiracy theory, like the conspiracy charges of anybody who ever got conspiracy to insert anything. The idea, like, oh, it's not just that idea that you have a thought crime, it's the idea that you did things and you did everything up into the crime where something stopped you from pursuing the actual dangerous thing. So actions, doing things are all important. And if I do not do things, if I am not part of that action, then what am I? I'm nothing. I'm a lump on the log. I'm a body in a room taking up space. I thought that was important to talk about because it kind of more or less, because Sue and Chuck have always keep saying like, hey, you know, you don't have to do this, you don't have to do that. I'm like, based upon who I am, one, and based upon me seeing the opposite side of that, two, yeah, I do. I do have to do these things because if I don't do these things, then I am not, one, not me, and two, status goes down. If you go to work and you don't do your job, your status goes down, you get demoted. If presidents and politicians, if they don't do their job and it's time for re-election, they don't get re-elected. Unless they're really good at spinning tails. Sorry, I'm also multitasking. What else am I talking about? Oh, so I lost my the friend I mentioned earlier, the one I actually made a big apology for, and two, was 1 out of 4 friends that I lost this week. 1 out of 4 friends I lost this week. 4. Yep. Total of 4. I had to remember the number. So, which number to go by first? All right, let me talk about Kitty. Me and Kitty were talking. She had, given this happened Saturday, a relative come over that she hasn't seen in a very long time. And we kind of got into it because I need to actually remember. Okay, so I said something. The things that I said to Kitty was just kind of like, I'm sure that the way in my mind is making it sound like that I didn't say anything wrong, and I'm pretty sure that I might have. Not wrong. Just like I'm not spoken out of turn kind of thing, but I think that I might have. I don't want to say this incorrectly and then later on kind of go like, you know, and for it to make sense, I need to say all of this for it to make sense. So. Alright, so she was very nervous about meeting this relative of hers, and I mentioned that, hey, are you nervous? She goes, 200%. I'm like, I could totally understand that. She goes, but you can't. And I'm like, now this is going to go into a little territory of my own personal life. Around 2014, the incident of 2014, was the first time I realized that my parents weren't dead. My actual biological parents. And that I had siblings. First time. Before that, I was informed that they all died in a plane crash. And the incident of 2014, the way that I found out that they still existed was that they were willing to try to help me get out of the situation that I got myself into. So, I guess I couldn't understand exactly what it's like to see a long-lost relative. Maybe, not a clue, but I definitely, I can empathize. I can definitely empathize. And I explained that to her. And she really hasn't said much about anything since that. But she has a lot of other things going on, and no one else is required to communicate with me. No one else is like, you know, it's not like, oh, you have to talk to me, you know. It's like, talk to me, don't talk to me. I cannot make people communicate with me. I can't get them to reply. The best I can do is put my best cards forward, show my hand, and leave the table. You know, like, what else can I do? I've done all I can do. The rest is up to you. But she's one of my good friends, and I really feel, I don't know. I don't know what to feel about Kitty. In this sense, I mean, like, you know, I don't know if I should message her and be like, you know, I'm sorry, but then I'm like, I'm not sorry. I was genuinely mad that she was like, you have no idea what that feels like, and that's how I felt that her reply was. So I express everything, like, you know, hey, I made videos about this, I talk about this constantly, that, like, you know, I literally know people that I don't know. Like, I'm learning about people who I don't really have much of a memory of. And 9 out of 10, she probably has no clue. Not a single iota of an idea that, like, I might be feeling this way. And, you know, maybe someone might be like, oh yeah, maybe you should just tell her. I'm like, well, if I have to make too much of an effort in any one relationship, see, I don't want to use that word, because it's not like people are going to think like, oh, like, if I have to overextend myself in a friendship, in a bondship, in a man, my English is going down. Then I risk the event of me trying harder than the other participant in trying to keep a friendship going. It's actually, in my opinion, one of the things that was going wrong with my friend prior to the incident that happened on Sunday. The idea that I was honestly trying really, really hard to impress, and the other friend was, but my friend was just kind of like, not like, nah, but like, just kind of like, it wasn't an equal exchange at all. It was kind of like, you know, I was trying really hard, and they're like, well, this is really nice effort you put into things. But I'm not going to talk about that particular thing. But at the same time, I feel, I don't know, I want to talk to Kitty, because Kitty is a friend. I care about Kitty, but at the same time, if I always run back to somebody and go like, you know, hey, you know, I'm sorry, it's my fault, and everything else like that, then that diminishes my own personal wealth. I have to be able to go, this is a line, and and this line is defined by me, and because it's defined by me, I have to stand by it. So, I don't know, maybe it's the beginning of something. But that's friend number 2 that I lost. Friend number 3 is Satan. Satan is my 3rd friend that I lost. Now, you guys have heard me talk about Satan every now and again. Satan is a friend of mine, and her name's not actual Satan. I just call her Satan because the way that her name is spelled backwards. But we were having a pretty rough week. I tell her virtually everything, and I was telling her about the kind of crappy feeling week I was trying to fight against, and everything else. And I believe it was Sunday that she messaged me after I said, like, you know, what's up, good morning. She started kind of like cursing all men, and I'm like, okay, well, what happened? You know, obviously something. It's like one of those things, like, you know, something happened, someone's messing with you, and she said this guy's name. I'm like, wait a minute, the one night stand guy. And I realize I might be talking a little bit too much, but I'm using a name no one else uses, so it's okay. She's like, it wasn't a one night stand. It was like, she told me that, and only because honestly the rest of it's like kind of none of my business, but I like being nosy sometimes. And she was having a problem that he wasn't necessarily being as exclusive as she was in their trying to get together. Now, keep in mind, prior to this, she told me that, oh, she's gonna be single for a while, do all this, do her. I'm like, you know, I'm really proud of you, congratulations and all that. I'm sorry. I'm having to read, so I paraphrase. So it's decently fresh in my mind. All right. So she was saying that how she was physically attracted to this guy, and I guess I was still kind of like agitated because of the situation that was happening with my friend at the time. I think minutes prior to this, I also just lost Kitty. So, and then also keep in mind that prior to all of this, back like 2015, I suggested that we dated and everything else like that, and she's like, no, not really, no, all that other stuff. And there's a reason. Hold on, I'm getting to that point. Just trying to figure out how to get there. Alright, so she told me about this guy and everything else. I'm just like, wow, okay, so like, you doing you, this, that, whatever, just talk again, huh? And she replies with, well, we just kind of get back and forth to it. I realize I can't talk about the whole thing because it's long. But then she reminded me, well, she used the excuse, I'm going to call it an excuse, that the reason that me and her never got together was because her daughter's father is extremely racist. And if we were to get together, he would virtually, I'm like, she's in a position where she is in the position she is in the position where she's not in the position to make any kind of demands. She's not in the position to be able to say, well, this is right, this is wrong, I want this, and this, everything else. She's in a position where she's at the mercy of him. And if he were to find out that she was dating a guy like me, then her battle would become all but impossible to win. And then I go on to explain, and then now understand what my life is constantly. The idea that people who are not involved in me, people who don't know me, people who don't know what I'm doing, but know that I am trying to associate. I'm not saying like get with, hook up with, whatever, but I'm associating with somebody else outside of our communication, of our business, of our workings, is then going like, oh, that guy's black? Well, let's see what we can do to fuck up this. That is my life on a daily basis. And if you think I'm being paranoid, I don't mean to bring out the race card, but the race card is definitely something that I have to deal with on a daily basis. The race card is something that I have to comprehend. And it's not even somebody who I'm directly influencing or talking to, but it's the idea that somebody else who is far removed is going to pressure other people to close opportunities, to close doors for me, not because I am a bad person, because I'm not, because obviously, we just talked about that earlier, not because I do bad things, not because I am a bad influence, not because I'm dangerous, but mainly because of the color of my skin and knowing nothing else. Knowing absolutely nothing else. Now, granted, Kitty could be completely giving me BS. Not Kitty, sorry. Satan can be completely giving me BS right now, but I'm pretty sure she's not. If I remember tales from what other people were saying, and I know hearsay, here I am, but like I never would bar the guy from doing anything like this guy's currently potentially would bar me. At least that's Satan's concern there. But this has happened to me before. I was dating a girl, let's call her Penny, when I was in state college. Let's call her Penny, and we were doing pretty well. Around the third date, I was like, oh, this might actually be a thing. I might actually be able to recover. I might actually be able to live and continue life after everything that has happened. And around after the third date, we had a conversation where she's like, I can't really see you anymore because my dad does not approve of this relationship. I'm like, aren't you like 20 something? I mean, like, what does your dad have to do with this, that, or sideways when it's just us? But like, she's like, I just can't. I'm not going to. I'm like, wow, that's my life. Keep in mind, that's just one example. The other examples I have is whenever I was looking for work, prior to and when Xavier was born, I applied to multiple places in the area, places that were hiring for help wanted signs and everything else. And keep in mind, this is prior to them knowing about my criminal or mental health issues. This is them. This is me putting my best foot forward. This is me going, okay, this is my resume. Shows I have college, high school experience. I finished high school, college experience, work experience. I've had a lot of different diverse experiences throughout life. I have been known to do work and finish work and take care of things based upon my resume. And that sounds great. Like, college credit, high school educated, willing to do whatever work is required of him to do. This guy sounds perfect. You know how many phone calls I got back? 0. After, how long was I looking for work then? I was going to say like a year, but it was more like 10 months. But 10 months of me looking for work before I landed the tax preparation schooling position, where like if you finish the course, then you get to be a tax preparer. And to me, that was definitely a whole situation where I felt like, if you guys ever seen Pursuit of Happiness, that movie, Will Smith's character is trying to do everything he can to support his son, to, and through all the rough times of being homeless, of struggling to be able to pay people and be paid by people and just everything else. And like, I saw myself in that position where like, okay, I have a family here and I'm against all odds. Things are just against me. And no matter what I'm trying to do, I'm always kind of like, giving the hands of like, oh, you do not pass kind of scenario. But here with this particular tax preparation course that will supposedly lead to a direct job, I was like, I'm putting all of it in. So like, for the course, I studied. I studied my ass off. Constantly. I would come home and I'll just like, okay, I'm trying to understand the concept here. I'm trying to like, it's just math, just numbers. But for someone like me, sometimes concepts like to be able to move forward in any kind of work at all. Not like physical work, but like, just any kind of thing that requires intellectual adaptations, requires you to just kind of like be able to adapt, understand enough of the material to apply it to certain scenarios and what have you. And I'm like trying to understand this, I'm trying to do this. I would sometimes take Xavier as a baby in a stroller with me to class. As I'm rocking him with one hand, feeding him with the other, I'm going through the book like, hey, I've got a question about this. Like, I was just that dedicated to be able, like, I can do this, I can find a way to make this work, because I want this job, I need this job to support my family. And I ended up completing the course, second in the class, with a 93% in the class. So obviously one other person beat me, a friend of mine, who wasn't a friend of mine at the time. She was definitely my rival, but but she got 1 point higher than me, 94. If I got 93, 94. And I did that. I'm like, oh, can't wait to start. Like, okay, cool. So we did a background check on you. I'm like, oh Christ. I'm like, all right, yeah, but those things happened so long ago. 1 and 2, those things have nothing to do with financial anything. And they're like, yeah, but corporate and everything else. I'm like, I heard the song and dance before. Thank you for the opportunity. Let me know they changed their mind. They never did, obviously. Even though letters were written, recommendations were sent out, that never changed. Which was really, really sad, because that was like, what? 4 years of schooling? Like a natural course. Like, I took the course, I worked on it, I was really determined, I really wanted this to work, and it didn't. And even though I did you pass the course, you get the job. Granted, that has nothing to do with my color, but understand that was something that I was outside of me, outside of my work, outside of my merit, outside of something that I do, because I did everything I was supposed to. I like even saying like, you are a great guy, you are cool, you are smart and intelligent and nice, and you do all the things that every girlfriend wants their boyfriend to do. I'm like, then what's the problem? And she's like, other people. Even my friend, her ex-husband does not have does not like me. Why? Because of the color of my skin. And because of that did cause a lot of friction, caused a lot of, I'm not gonna say, I can't say problems because it wasn't really problems, but like it was definitely that level of like tension a little bit. And it's kind of like, what is he gonna do? How's he gonna retaliate? He already, used his daughter in a way to retaliate. Yes, a horrible thing, and I'm just gonna say that. But yeah, just my life is a series of people outside the situation kind of going, this guy does not get that. Regardless of how good he is, regardless of how hard he tries, regardless of all the letters of recommendations, people will say who will be able to vouch for him, there's somebody who is 12 steps removed from the situation, looking down, kind of going, no. That's my life, and just which is why I always try so hard with everything that I do, because I know that is my life. That is kind of just something that I understand is just something that always happens. It's something that just happens, and it's depressing and it's heartbreaking and it's my reality. I wake up knowing that. I wake up knowing that there are people out there who do not know me, do not know me from Adam. They don't know the things that I've gone through and the ways that I struggled. And they're willing, for whatever their personal reasons are, say no. With the H&R Block, it was slightly different, but I have seen other people with a lot worse charges do that job. Do that. I don't mean like go to the course. I mean do that job. Do that particular position I was going for. I probably could afford it, but how do you find something without money? I needed the job to get that. I only did the best that I could. And I always tell myself, what more can I do? But at the same time, I also tell myself, do more. But it's kind of hard to do more when everything happens to stop you. Well, and not everything. It seems like everything's that is going to stop you, because it's things that you cannot prepare for, because it's things that you don't even consider, because it's things that's not even part of the situation. I can try to go for a job, and maybe the person who I talked to was like, yeah, I really like you, you're really cool, and they send the paperwork to the person, like, was that that person that just walked in, he or she who was not part of the interview process might have had a horrible day, and was just kind of like, you know what, I feel like sharing the hate. That person you just saw, don't know him from Adam, he doesn't get this job. I don't care. No one needs to be hired right now anyway. We just double up your work. That had nothing to do with me. Circumstances prevented me from an opportunity. I'm not saying that happened, but I'm saying that's a possibility that can happen, right? That's within reason. And I can't prove about the discrimination on that. I can't prove about the mistreatment or unfairness of that, because I wasn't involved in that, other than the fact that it was like that person. Not even that person, not even that black person, not even that guy, not even that male, not just I was a body at the time that person saw me, boom, it can happen to anybody. And it does happen to virtually everybody. But it seems to always happen to me. But I know that waking up, I know that working throughout my day, and I know that when I go to bed, that I have that to look forward to tomorrow. Not the constant put down, but that is one of my biggest challenges, the unknown of people who are not part of my situation, preventing me from doing things I like. Opportunities that I deserve by my own actions, by my own merit, by things that I do. That's my opinion. And that's my life. And that's what I told Satan. And since then, Satan has not messaged back. So I lost that. But that was based upon my actions. I take responsibility for that. And I'm sorry about Satan no longer caring. Like, I am kind of sad that Kitty hasn't messaged me since then either. Like, I'm sorry that I lost my friend Dom. Fuck. I'm sorry that I lost my friends. And that's not the last one. One more. I lost another friend, and this friend I am not sad about losing. This friend is someone that was upset because One, because whenever I was in the area, you know what? Let me rewind back this, and I'm gonna have to give this friend a name. Let's call this friend Miss Jackson. All right. Woo! Yeah, my voice is starting because I'm talking too much. But Miss Jackson and I hooked up once upon a time, way back, and it didn't work out, mainly because I felt that she would hide the fact that she was kind of seeing me, and I didn't really appreciate that. And I was like, all right, well, I'm going to go with somebody else who isn't ashamed to be with me, who isn't worried about what Jane, Thomas, and Sarah over there are going to say because of me. But we can still be friends. Granted, what kind of friendship can you really have? But she's still a nice person. She's not a bad person. She just worries so much about what other people think. So I was like, okay, we can still be friends and everything else like that. Well, regardless, needless to say, every now and again, she's kind of like, oh yeah, we should hook up again. We should hook up again. We should hook up again. I'm like, look, as much as, you know, that sounds like fun, I'm not about to just, I'm too old for like high school hookup. Like, she's not in high school. She's not. She's actually a lot older than me. not like grandma older, but like, you know, just older than me. And, you know, I'm like, look, those are high school games. I'm not here to mess around. I want to be in a relationship. I don't want to just mess around with people. Where was I? God, that phone call really just messed up my flow. So Miss Jackson's always trying to hit me up. I'm like, you know, if it's not a relationship, I don't want that. Like, I don't want to just waste my time and energy on things like that. So, we had a conversation last Sunday, the same day I lost all my other friends. And she was like, you know what? Why don't, like, oh, I heard that you were in the area because I went to go hang out with my friend, which is part of the video that you guys will never see. And Miss Jackson was like, why didn't you come down and see me? I'm like, because I didn't have time. 1, 2, someone else had my time. And 3, I didn't think I needed to. And she was like, you know what? Friends are supposed to like hang out together. I'm like, you know, I would love, you know, that'd be great if I could actually trust to be around you. And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, you lie to me constantly. And she's like, why lie? Because you hurt me. And I'm like, okay, you know, I'm sorry about what happened in the past, but that's based upon your actions. I told you that before. And she's like, well, that was back then. I'm talking about things that happened recently. And she then proceeded to tell me that because I hung out with somebody else, that's why she lied to me. That's why she lied to me and continues to lie to me regularly. And I'm like, so let me get it straight. So, because you don't want to date me, and I am looking for somebody who fits that category, you then retaliate, not only by lying to me, but also just by kind of being a shitty friend. And then we get into it, and then she sends me a message that, like, that more or less, guys, if I fall back on this, if I go back and kind of go, well, it wasn't that bad, because she's going to say, like, you know, oh, I had a headache, and I'm going through a lot of stuff, and yada, yada, and, like, everybody's going through things, but there's a certain, there's a limit. There are things that you don't say, or there's the things that you just can't unsay by just saying, oh, I'm sorry, you know, yada, 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 whatever. Like, there are just things that you just can't go, like, you know, you just can't backpedal. There's no amount of backpedaling that would make this, what she said, okay. All right, so, and she wrote, like, I could show it to you, but, like, you really can't see it. And don't worry, the names are already blurred out, so. She's like, just listen to yourself. And this is me explaining to her, because I moved on in finding a relationship from her, because she was not looking for a relationship in me, she got mad and then lied. I'm like, you have to understand, this is why I don't see you. This is why I don't trust you. This is why. And this whole ridiculous thing, like, oh, friends should be able to stay over over at other friends' places. I'm like, I don't need to, so I'm not going to. And even if I needed to, I'm sure there's a hotel that I could trust a lot more. And she was like, just listen to yourself. You're being mean. You got nothing good to say. I feel sorry for her. And the idea, I feel sorry for her being whoever I was talking to. And then I'm just like, Miss Jackson, go fuck yourself. And this is why I hate you. And I sent her the message, circle that area, and block her. I am not going to unblock her. I'm not going to, like, try to see her. Like, I'm not going to be, she's no longer a friend. Because of that comment, I feel sorry for her. Because of me. She is no longer even a person to me. Not even a person to me. I'm trying not to be emotional about that because that really hits a core. And it's not something like, oh, I said that by accident. That's something you intentionally have. After saying that, like, oh yeah, I hurt you because you moved on. I'm like, I moved on because you weren't going to be in a relationship. And you lie all the time. And you cause drama all the time. And this is just something that obviously shows that and I wonder, really honestly, how many people feel sorry for the people I get with because of all the shit that goes on around me, the shit around my life, and there's not enough good in it. That one line embodies my entire fear of me being associated with anybody. So thank you for showing me that, but fuck yourself. I don't ever want to deal with you again, Miss Jackson. I ain't for real. So there's that. So there goes my, 3.5 friends that I lost over the week. I have to return that phone call, so I'm going to try to wrap this up. I have a meeting today with Skills at 1 o'clock. We're going to talk about things, like the things on my board. I actually printed out another, I need to show you a page that doesn't have our name on it. Custody papers. Custody modification papers. I had to reprint them out again because they lost, not the documentation, but the receipt that said that Xavier's mom got these. They signed for these, the copy that they got, but since they didn't get the receipt, because it came to me. I'm like, okay, I'll fax it to you. Oh no, we don't accept faxes. I'm like, so you want me to send the original over to you guys? You know what? Sure. What's the worst that can happen? So they lost everything. Like they even lost the original that I sent them. Like, we can't find your file. We have the file number. Your file number's here, but we can't have the file. You're gonna have to refile, but we can't let you refile unless the old docket number goes away. I just got the old docket number. I just got the letter saying the old docket number. The request has been denied because of improper documentation filing, whatever. Even though it was their fault, my actions, I did everything I could. I even did it with A, so she's my witness that I printed out the papers. They got their paper. She got her paper. I sent them the receipt for both of those things, and they were just like, we lost everything now. We have nothing. It's like people outside my situation just kind of like, whoop, done. Nope, he does not get that. So I'm doing it again. What I'm going to do differently, I'm going to record it this time. I'm going to definitely record it. Not just sending out the documentation, but also getting the receipt, sending them the receipt and everything else like that. But the thing is, with this COVID-19 situation, courthouses are closed, so maybe we can do a video, a voice conference kind of thing. Because my son is worth that. I just don't know if they believe that. I'm me trying to convince other people that hey, this is my son. I definitely want to make the effort to make this happen. But I printed this out. It took me a while to actually find the file again. I filled it out to the best of my ability. I think I just need to date it. I only want to date it whenever I'm about to mail it out. So I need to mail one copy out to the courthouse, one copy out to Xavier's mother, and obviously I keep the original on my computer. And then I wait and hope. Because those people are hard enough to get a hold of during regular business hours without a pandemic going around shutting down most businesses. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some of the hard struggles I've had throughout my life, like recently. Situation with my friend, moving, Operation R, the Legacy Project, which, I'm doing that right now. I will look my application then. Operation Relocation. I have a documentation over there. You see a $20 bill up there? Right there. Yeah. That is for the application fee. So that's so I know I don't accidentally spend it or it doesn't just go missing. I have it there so that, it gets done. So hopefully by next week that won't be there. Because if it is, so we'll talk about that. And maybe a few other things happening personally and see where that leads. On Thursday, I talked to my service access management caseworker about getting on something that they call around here Section 8. Now, Section 8 will allow rent for someone in my position to be a little bit easier. Now, it's not a house. It'd be an apartment or a efficiency apartment, and I need to find a way to make that work. So we're talking about that with Sam's, and we'll be talking about my past due electric bill that I was foolish enough, my fault on that one too, because I was foolish enough to try to take on a big project as paying for an electric bill for such a big household. And I want to see what I can do to be able to handle that situation better. So yeah, there's that. In the past 2-3 days, I have been in touch with several people about apartments. This one actually got sold today. So now I know that. That's, one less, sadly. I also realized that most of the apartments that I want to move into that are close by is not going to disrupt a lot of my services. Is a town that's like a town over. One town over. So it turns out that half the town is in the county that I'm currently in, which allows me to have my services. And the other half of the town is for another county, which would mean that I would either change all my services or I would lose half my services. That's not it. Isn't it? The line is almost ambiguous. Like, people saying one thing, other people saying another. But it seems like the general census is the main place I wanted to go to, which is called, I'm going to call it the Towers. Kind of similar to where I live now. Not similar to where I live now, as in like, I call this, anyway, because that happens to be on the other, like, across the street, it's fine. No apartments on that side, but yeah, it's fine. That's the county I live in. The street where the Towers happens to be is another county, which is heartbreaking and disappointing, and we all were kind of looking forward to that idea of kind of like a city-like place in the country-like setting. A high-rise, elevators. It was kind of like going back home for us. Sadly enough, I don't think it's going to work like that, which really, really, really sucks. So we need to figure out what else we can do. I don't want to go back to where I used to live with Xavier's mom and Xavier. Too many memories. Really is too many memories, and I honestly feel that it would just be a lot worse. Now, sadly enough, the place that got sold was the place I was really hoping to get in. Can't even say the name. The town over in the other direction. I was really hoping to get a place down there, but it was like everything included, but water, sewage. No, sorry. Water is included, sewage is included, sanitation is included. So yeah. That sucks. I was really kind of hoping to live in that area because it wouldn't be that far. It would still be in the same county, and it wouldn't be that far from all the other places I need to go to. And it's a quiet town. I don't have to worry about getting in trouble. I don't have to worry about well, you had to worry about hoodlums everywhere you go, but like I wouldn't have to worry tremendously about crime and everything else like that. Granted, those things happen regardless of where you go, but you know, there's a difference between going to a war zone and there's a difference between, you know, going to the countryside. Yeah, you might find a strangler who's going out to the countryside trying to strangle, you know, country folk. That's not gonna happen as often as drive-by shootings. I'm not saying that I do that now, but I kind of want to be in a quieter area. If I feel like I'm in a more dangerous area, I might feel that I might need to do something about it. I think that's what's been bothering me lately. There's been a lot of things happening that I feel that are completely out of my control because it's partially none of my business. And I hate that. I hate the fact that things are happening around me that really isn't my business. And I can't do anything about it, even though it's kind of affecting me. Kind of affecting me. Kind of like, you know, the neighbors screaming next door. That's affecting me because they're loud. I'm not saying there are neighbors that scream, like, I'm just an example. But their actual marital issues, their own domestic issues, is not my business. I can only be like, hey, keep it down. I can't save them from their own troubles or whatever. So, same situation here, like there's a lot of stuff going on. It's kind of like, okay, well, I can only say like, hey, don't let this bother me. But it's the same, and they're trying, but at the same time, it still is affecting me, even on the lowest level. And I wish I can help. I wish I can do something about it, but I can't, and that sucks for me. I'm sure, you know, they're like, oh yeah, it's not gonna, you know, fudge this up. Nothing to fudge up. It's always fudged. But I've talked enough. Talked about that. I'm trying to remember if I talked about everything. Me and Sue are being more distant. I'm getting to talk to A today. I can't talk about my friend, which was a major part of what happened last week. Talked about things that are happening. The board and stuff. I'm thinking, and this is an idea that watch Knives Out. If you haven't seen Knives Out, it's a great movie. Real quick, I've been thinking, this morning I thought about, well, last night I think I thought about it, where I'm like, you know, I have 200 games that I own, not on the actual Xbox here. I have capable of downloading 200 games, which currently I have 50 downloaded. On my computer, I believe I have something around, once again, not games that I have downloaded, just games that I can download, games that are in my library, 315. And most of them are probably crap games, so I, you know, take that for what it is. I'm thinking that I probably want to start something for like a month, where rather than having 50 games on the Xbox here, and like, what is it, like 27 games here? 25 on the actual PC. I think I'm going to reduce all those numbers, not for the whole year, not even for a couple of months. I think I'm going to try for one. For the Xbox, the initial idea was like, okay, for the Xbox, I'm going to have one game that I actually play for me, and another game that I play for maybe like when I play with friends or what have you, and another one for streaming. So it's 3 games out of, you know, reducing. I was going to originally do it down to 1, but I realized I play with Kitty, I play with Tyler, I play with yep, that's it. And that's on my console here. On my PC, I only really play with Vincent and Kitty. So, but with Vincent and Kitty, we had the rivalry. If you haven't checked that out, that's on my Twitch. So right now we have 4 games: Tekken 7, Dragon Ball FighterZ, Rainbow Six, and Yu-Gi-Oh! I also streamed Paper Please and Streets of Rogue with him. Well, Streets of Rogue with him, Paper Please by myself. And I did all that. So, like, things that I play with other people, I think I'm gonna leave on it. But, like, solo games that I kind of want to get to, I might delete them for the month. Only because then it's just like, I'm not even worried about space. It's not even my concern. maybe if I focus a little bit more on things that are important, like I have a lot of goals on that board, but I'm only really focusing on the top 2. If I do the top 2, then I move on to the second 2. But like I don't even really want to worry about the top 2 here. So with my consoles, if I just kind of worry about the game that I'm currently trying to do for one game 1 month, and one game for fun, and maybe one game that me and Tyler and Kitty can play, I can try to convince them to play all the same game. Then I'll have that, and on my PC I'll have the 4 games me and Vincent play, and maybe Paper Please, and Streets of Road. Oh crap. Well, I really don't play that many games. Maybe Rainbow Six. Oh no, that's part of the Ravelry. So yeah. Anyway, like I'm forming an idea, and I might do that idea in June. Formulate it now, kind of thing. But I'm trying to keep busy. I'm trying not to think about the horrible people and the horrible people like Miss Jackson. I'm trying not to think about not the horrible things that I've done, but the mistakes I've made being with my friend. Think about the horrible people outside my own knowledge of existing, like the Satan situation. And I I still feel alone, but not as badly. Why? Oh god, I might kick my ass for this one. So I've been talking to Dani, not like romantically, not necessarily romantically, just like, hey, we were talking about, like, we started talking again because Brooklyn was playing Fortnite and she wanted me to join her play Fortnite on my Nintendo Switch. Well, Switch Lite. So me and Brooklyn we play, and then me and Dani, I'm like, oh, hey Dani, how are things? Because Dani's an adult, Brooklyn's a child. I'm not gonna be like, hey Brooklyn, what's going on? Like, I'm playing Fortnite. What do you think's going on? I'm like, okay, yeah, you're right. Like, Dani, how are things? Like, things, and I've talked about that before. And there's a part of me that goes, do not fall back into the same trap. So I talked to her about that because I don't have anybody else to really talk to anymore. Sue's constantly busy running around, doing, 2 things. Being a grandparent. She's extremely excited about that. She's helping out, watching babies. And she's gone most of the days. And she's not gone, then she's resting, because watching babies is a lot for her. I don't have Kitty. I don't have Satan. I don't have my friend. I never really had Miss Jackson, so that's not really much of a loss. Miss Jackson's just really, like, we had good moments, don't get me wrong, but like a lot of times it's just kind of like, Miss Jackson. Anyway, so I've been talking to Dani because Dani's virtually all I got left. And that sounds horrible. That does sound horrible. Like, but honestly, if it wasn't for the fact that, well, it wasn't for Brooklyn, I probably wouldn't be talking to her again. And things here and there, but I don't know. I'm over my hour by 4 minutes. Holy crap! Am I? Or am I just over it? Just by, like, Nope. I'm about over it for holy crap. I'm about to end the stream. So thank you guys for watching. I do appreciate that tremendously. Even though the last video didn't work, and the video before that didn't work, and the video before that, the 2 videos before that, I had to bring down. I don't know. It's the only time I really get to talk to anybody. And now I have to censor everything. It was kind of sucked, but it's understandable, kind of. I don't know. I hope this meeting goes well. I need to call back my granddad and get ready for this meeting. And I don't know, maybe I might make a note to talk about why I think I am such a failure at everything. But I can't do it next Monday because it's Mother's Day. Oh, how about to make a note? Can't do that. I got Sue a gift for Mother's Day. I got her a monkey that whenever you touch his palm, it says things. I just know she likes monkeys. She likes because her daughter likes monkeys a lot. So I shouldn't get anything for Xavier's Mother's Day, even though I am grateful for the fact that without her, I wouldn't have him. And I kind of want something from Father's Day. So I don't know. I'm not smart enough to create things creatively. I've been watching some good news, and I always want to be like, I want to do something like that. Except that I'm not that smart. I'm not. I have rookie problems right now. January problems for anybody who understands that joke. I don't know. Maybe I'll think of something. But I got to go on with the rest of my day. An hour away from doing things is an hour that I lost. So I'll catch you guys later. Have a good week, and I'll see you whenever I see you. Later.